Welcome to the very first edition of Lip MMA. This is three-time UFC veteran Steve Berger, and he's the head coach of Berger's MMA in Arnold. This is professional mixed martial arts fighter Barb Honchak, and she fights under Steve Berger at Berger's MMA. And this is Jason Cooper of Cage Championships, a show owned by Patrick Smith in Sullivan, Missouri. He is the matchmaker of one of the best shows around. Folks, welcome to the very first edition of Lip.
Glad to be having us.
Let's start with Barb. Can you explain to us what it is that you do for a living in addition to fighting?
Yeah, I'm a laboratory manager at Washington University for a group that studies photosynthetic microorganisms.
Photosynthetic microorganisms. All right.
She can beat you up and teach you a thing or two.
Absolutely. Barb, you recently embarked on a professional fighting career. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm currently 1-1 as a professional mixed martial artist. My first fight was against a 4-0 Monica Lovato, and my second one was against Kat Albert.
Okay. We've seen the Monica Lovato fight. It was on Cage, King of the Cage pay-per-view, which was awesome. We were really proud of you here. What is it that drew you to MMA? I mean, being a molecular biologist or whatever it is, what drew you to MMA?
So going through college, I've lived in really great mountain towns where we had snowboarding, mountain biking, road biking, a little bit of rock climbing, a lot of outdoor activities that were challenging. And moving back to St. Louis with my husband, there aren't very many mountains here.
Right.
And there's sort of a lack of activities for people who like sports like I do. So when we first moved back here, it was actually my husband who started training with Steve at Berger's MMA. And he was injured. He got a rib injury, and instead of just taking time off the contract, he said, "Hey, Steve, do you mind if my wife comes in?" And actually, at the time, my fiance comes in and tries out your class. And Steve said, "Sure." And so I tried it, and I never thought when I started that I was going to be, a
Where
fighter.
You are today, a big.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
Oh boy, a girl. Okay.
And dare I say, probably top 10 in the country at her weight class?
Oh, absolutely. I think top 5, like I always say. I mean, she's got a ton of heart, ton of fire, amazing technique, shows up day in, day out to practice, and always puts in 110%. So.
All right, and I think anybody that's seen Barb fight will attest to that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
This man right here is Jason Cooper, one of the best matchmakers in our industry, one of the best shows, Cage Championships in Sullivan. Coop, thanks for coming, man. How did you get involved with MMA?
Oh man, it's a crazy story. Patrick Smith started Cage Championships. He had the first one in Union, Missouri. And I was just a fan. A buddy of mine, I did jiu-jitsu a little bit. A buddy of mine, he hired to do the recording of it. Said, "Hey, there's a show in Union. Why don't you come check it out with me?" So I went with him, checked it out. After the show, sent Patrick an email and said, "Hey, I might be able to help you out around the Rolla area. Give me a chance." And he gave me a chance, and here I am now. First couple of shows, I just sold some tickets, found a couple fighters for him. He had some medical problems with his family and himself, and needed me to step up, and I just stepped it up from there. So
I know I speak for Steve here. I'm glad, because you've been an asset to MMA, and you've brought some great shows to the multitudes here in our area, and we can't thank you enough. When is the next Cage Championships event?
March 20th in Washington, Missouri. We're going to have another elite show.
Okay, great. How can fans get a hold of tickets if they were interested in going to that show? It is a local show, so.
Yeah, Washington's fairly close, but you can go to cagechampionships.com, or you can call 573-263-8489.
Okay. Speaking of Patrick Smith, how is it to work for that guy?
He's awesome. He's just a great guy. He's actually a preacher as well. We're kind of opposites, but we work well together. We kind of fit, I guess you could say.
Okay.
He's okay with you worshiping the devil?
Yeah, I don't think that'll go over too well with Patrick.
No, he's just a great guy. You can't work for a better person.
Okay, well this question is for everybody on the panel. Where do you guys see our sport in 2 years?
I'll tell you what, I think if we back it up to where do you see our sport, 5 years ago, if you were to ask this question 5 years ago, it's just amazing the leaps and bounds that it's made. Here you have 5 years ago, there wasn't a lot of people who really knew about it and stuff. 5, 6 years ago, as soon as it hit nationwide, it hit with the Ultimate Fighter and stuff, became primetime television, for lack of better words. Everybody started to knew about it, get onto it. Now it's, I think it's top of the food chain. I really couldn't tell you who the heavyweight boxing champion is, but I can tell you who the heavyweight UFC.
Yeah, it's pretty
champion
popular. It's blowing up. Barb, do you have anything coming up in the near future? Do you have a fight on, in the near future?
Nothing official on the
Nothing official?
calendars.
Okay.
We're trying to get onto the next King of the Cage show, but there's no contracts yet. Nothing's
Right.
official.
Okay, and that's that's a pay-per-view event. I believe is that in the Denver, Colorado area?
Reno.
Reno?
Reno, Nevada, yeah. We stepped up in weight for Barb's last fight. She fought an amazing fight against a very, very tough, top-level competitor. Barb dropped the decision in that one. We're going back to the drawing boards. I'll be fighting March 26th for King of the Cage, and it's still not out of the question that we'll have Barb in there. So time will tell. She's back in the gym training.
Okay. Well, that's one thing that I think that has helped our sport is we have, and I know you guys can chime in on this anytime you want, we have gravitated towards sanctioning and rules, and I'll give you an example of that. The state of New York, they've recently put some stuff in the assembly to try to legalize MMA in the state of New York. There was a Governor, George Pataki, who was the governor at the time, outlawed it in 1997. He called our sport barbaric. Done kind of a flip-flop now. They've just introduced a bill in New York, and they'd like to get it regulated by the New York State Athletic Commission. There was an independent study done by a group, and they said that the state of New York has a $9 billion budget deficit, and this study, if the UFC were to come into there, they would generate $11.5 million of economic activity in New York and $5.2 million in Buffalo alone. You guys know, as insiders, this is a great sport, and economically, this is good for any state or city or municipality, anybody that gets involved in this.
Well, absolutely, and like I've always said, everybody hears the word fight, and they picture two biker guys in a back alley slugging it out with no rules. This is a sport, I always say, if you look back to the beginning of time when you had the first Olympics, you had runners and you had boxers, wrestlers, fighters. This is what sports were. There wasn't any ball sports back then. It's one of those things where you set down rules, guidelines, rules and stuff, and it's sports in its purest form.
Right.
So.
Okay. Hey, Coop, you guys have started something kind of unique. You want to expound on that a little bit? The Challenger Series?
Yeah, we just purchased Midmo MMA out of Moberly. What we're going to do, we've had these big shows with the regular Cage Championship shows, and I constantly get calls from new guys that want to get on the card. And it was just always so hard to get them on the cards. Whenever you have guys, that are just phenomenal fighters, you're going to have to get them on the card first. So what we did with the show that we bought out of Moberly is we're making what we call the Challenger Series. To where we can get some of these newer guys that want to work their way up and prove themselves that they belong on these big cards. So we're going to take this Challenger Series and give these guys the opportunity to fight in front of the fans and make a name for themselves to work their way up to the Elite Series and some bigger fights.
All right. In addition to being one of the best matchmakers around, Coop is also a consultant for Combat Sports. It's a sanctioning body in our area that does an outstanding job.
Absolutely.
Outstanding job. Well, you know what? Speaking of our sport, we've grown by leaps and bounds. The last Ultimate Fight Night, Gray Maynard, $40,000, $20,000 to show, $20,000 to win. Nate Diaz got a flat $48,000. So if that's any indication of what our sport is doing, I think we're headed in pretty good direction. What do you think, Barb?
Sounds good to me.
Barb's ready to sign up. Maynard or Nate.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? Where do you see it, Barb, on the local level? Where do you see it as, in regard to women? Where do you see it? Is it starting to catch on in your opinion? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
On the amateur level, yeah, there's more women in every single MMA gym in the area. I've been working with a lot of different women from a lot of different gyms. We try to get together as a community because there are so few of us, at least initially there have been. And every gym has, it used to be either no women or one woman in each gym, and now every single gym has a few girls. And so for sure it's growing. I think that in the area there's still missing a lot of female pro fighters, and I would like to see the sport come up more with more female pros. But then again, the area seems to be missing pro shows also, so it's hard to really know who's out there when you don't have a whole lot of work in the area.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Steve, you want to expound on that? Any thoughts on that?
You know, women's MMA is, like Barb touched on, it's just come leaps and bounds. Barb was my only girl, and now we have about 4 or 5. Barb's actually started her own women's MMA class right out of the boxing gym in Arnold there out of Burgers MMA. But we're getting a lot more interest. A lot of women are seeing it, especially on the Strike Force circuit and stuff, and saying, hey, this is something I'd like to do, and it is fun. And we got a great coach right here.
Yes, we do. Okay, with that, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back with these announcements, and I hope you enjoy Tips from the Pros. This is Fat Lip MMA, and we'll be back after this.
The teacher's doors are always open.
Faculty commitment.
What I like the best is just the overall enthusiasm that the teachers have.
The faculty understands our students.
Jefferson College has a very comprehensive education.
Just being part of Jefferson College is like my second family.
Top quality education.
I'm Rachel Schrage.
I'm Jose Soloria. I'm Della Selman.
I'm Shayna Payton, and I discovered my future at Jefferson College.
Hi, I'm Mike Rogers from St. Charles MMA and Team Value. Today you're watching Fat Lip MMA TV and Tips from the Pros. I'm going to demonstrate a transition from the stand-up position, takedown, into the mount, and get a submission. So, first I'm going to demonstrate at full speed. Okay guys. What I did was I threw my punches in order to engage them into the over and under position. I got them in an over and under position. I went to the clinch and stepped around and got the correct angle to get my takedown. Right here, squeezing my elbows together and taking them over my back leg and finishing in the mount. When I got to the mount, I threw my punches in order to open up for an armbar. When he goes to push away, I press my hand on his chest, pop up, step over. Now I want to keep my butt as close to his shoulders as I can. Squeeze my elbows, my knees together, and do that leg curl on his body. Bring my hips up in the air, and then I'll finish it. I'm Mike Rogers from Fat Lip MMA TV. Have a good week. Thank you.
Welcome back to Fat Lip MMA. We have a special guest with us, Andrea. She is a Sick Fightwear girl, and Sick Fightwear is a huge supporter of MMA in our area. They carry a multitude of lines, Tap Out most notably, Affliction, Sinful, Serious Pimp, toe-to-toe fightwear, and they also have their own fightwear, Sick Fightwear. Andrea, welcome.
Thank you. We have the UFC 110 in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
A couple fights is Antonio Najero and also Cain Velasquez. What do we think about that?
That's going to be good.
Yeah.
You got a living legend in Antonio Nogueira and Cain Velasquez. What a force!
Oh
that
man,
guy is.
you know,
Go ahead.
A lot of people don't realize of his 8 professional fights, the referee has stepped in and stopped 7 of those things, man. So that guy's just brutal.
Well, he's something else, and what's really nice about this matchup is it's an old lion versus young lion match, and I really like it. My personal pick, I'm going with the old lion. I think Antonio's going to be able to pull it off, but I don't think it's going to be an easy feat by any means.
Barb, what do you think? Who are you going with?
I'll have to go with the old lion too.
Gonna go with Nogueira too.
Wise choice.
I got to go with Cain. I got to go with Cain Velasquez, man. That guy, a product of Arizona State wrestling, just an animal as a wrestler. And like I said, the guy has just got dynamite for fists. Like I touched on earlier, he has been of the 8 pro fights he's had, the referees had to pull him off 7 times, man. So
that's what makes this fight so interesting, though, because Cain has dynamite in his hands, but Rodrigo has concrete in his jaw. I mean, it's just one of those deals. There's, Antonio, concrete in his jaw. There's just no way I see Cain knocking that guy out, and the guy has been known to take shot after shot and then come back and finish. So I don't doubt the first couple rounds you're going to see Nogueira taking a beating, but I do believe that he's going to end up pulling it out with the submissions.
I definitely think Velasquez might catch Najera in a hit, but Velasquez's submission is really good and good groundwork, so I definitely think he'll
I'm with
take the win over Velasquez.
I'm with you. All right.
Who needs these two?
And the next fight, what about Brian Foster and Chris Little? What do you guys think about that?
What do you think, Steve?
Brian Foster, he is a brawler out of the Hit Squad, correct?
Right, Granite City, Illinois.
Even though he's closer to my hometown and stuff, I'm going with Chris Lytle. I've known Chris for 14 years now. A phenomenal fighter. He is well-rounded from jiu-jitsu. His boxing is just amazing, and I take that back. His stand-up is just amazing. He's a very good kicker as well as puncher. Solid wrestler. I just think here, you're going to have another young up-and-comer who is going to have the brawling, going to have great coaches behind him with Hughes and Fiore and Lawler over there, but I just think he's going to fall short. Chris Lytle went the distance with Matt Hughes himself, and even though Chris dropped the decision, he proved he's a force. I think he'll be around for a while, and I think Brian's going to fall short.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see Foster win this too, being a local fighter, but I have to agree that Lytle's going to win.
I had the privilege of interviewing him on Fat Lip MMA. I think he's got that it factor. I think he's a brawler, and I think he's just going to be too much for Mr. Lytle. I'm going with my boy Brian Foster of the Hit Squad.
And I think you're just picking against my pick.
I definitely choose Brian Foster too, and he's also a big supporter of FatLip.com.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Going
Can't
for
hurt.
the hometown here. Also, there's Michael Bisping and Vanderlei Silva.
Here again. I'm gonna take Silva. I'm sure you're gonna pull Bisping, but I will take Silva. I think Bisping is a very talented fighter. I think Vanderlei has that. I always tell all my guys, look, you have stand-up fighters, you have wrestlers, you have jiu-jitsu players. And then you have that X factor. You have the guy who's just the fighter, and that's the guy who will take shot after shot, not going to phase him. He's just going to keep coming, and that's Vanderlei Silva. He's definitely got that X factor. His nickname is well suited, the Axe
Murderer, yeah.
And I see him just. I'm sure Bisping's going to throw him some fits, but I think that Vanderlei's going to win, and. That's my pick.
Okay. I think it's a hard pick between those two, but once again, I'm gonna side with Steve. I love Vanderlei Silva, and I think he's gonna take it.
Yeah, I hate to do this, but I got to agree with you. I got to agree with you. I think that while Michael the Count Bisping is one of Dustin Seaver's, a very respected guy in our circle, loves the guy. I personally think he's a little overrated.
Dustin Seaver's affectionately known as Father Sealbark.
Father Sealbark. We'll touch on that on another show. Vanderlei Silva, I think, will prove in the end to have just just too slick, too many skills for Mr. Bisping.
I agree.
All right. Well, Andrea, thank you. Barb, thank you.
What's Andrea's pick?
So I definitely agree too. I think Bisping would have to kind of pick his spots if he's going to go for Silva. And you know, Silva went from light heavyweight to middle heavyweight.
Oh, good point.
But he's got those relentless punches, so I think he'll definitely get it.
Okay. All right. Well, on behalf of Fat Lip MMA and Burgers MMA and Barb Honchak and Andrea, the sick fightwear girl, thanks for tuning in. And we'd like to thank Gyrocycles and Festus. They're a huge supporter of MMA. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Fat Lip MMA.